Welcome to a guided boat tour of the Amsterdam canals, brought to you exclusively by The View. Enjoy the experience. Amsterdam, also known as Venice of the North, is the capital and most populous city of the Netherlands. Amsterdam is home to 165 canals and 1,281 bridges. This, believe it or not, was mostly swampland. The swamps were drained, which created the islands surrounded by these canals. Originating as a small fishing village in the late 12th century, Amsterdam became one of the most important ports in the world and became the leading center for finance and trade. This unique green building here on the left is NEMO, the largest science museum in the Netherlands. From its rooftop square, you can admire a fantastic view of Amsterdam. It is a wonderfully interactive environment for both children and adults. We are now traveling on the Oude Schans, and in front of us you can see the Montalban Tower standing at 48 meters. Originally, this tower was built in 1516 as part of the walls of Amsterdam to defend the city and harbor. The top half was extended to its current decorative form as a clock tower in 1606. We are now traveling through the St. Anthony's Locks, built in 1602 to replace a dam between two former defense moats on the city's eastern side. Here, on the left corner, is the lockkeeper's house, built in 1695. It is one of the most leaning places in the city. It was restored recently and opened as a cafe. Behind the lockkeeper house is the Rembrandt house. Rembrandt van Rijn, a famous Dutch painter, purchased the home in 1639. If you look up here to the right, you can see the Southern Church, or Zuiderkerk. The Zuiderkerk was the first Protestant church of Amsterdam. Here on the right is the Trippenhuis. The Trippenhuis was built in 1666 for two wealthy brothers, named Lodewijk and Hendrik Tripp. At 22 meters wide, it is the most spacious residence in Amsterdam. Here in front of us is the Waag, formerly known as St. Anthony's Gate. It's the oldest non-religious building in Amsterdam. In front of us is the Aluminiumbrug, one of the many drawbridges in Amsterdam. This bridge was installed in the 1950s and was the first drawbridge in Amsterdam to feature an aluminum deck. Tourists began to hang love padlocks on the bridge, but it is now forbidden because of damage to the aluminum bridge. And on the right is the Hotel de Doelen, Amsterdam's oldest hotel. Rembrandt painted his legendary Night Watch on the 3rd floor, and celebrities and royalty, including Queen Victoria and the Beatles, have stayed in this impressive building overlooking the Amstel River. In front of us, slightly on the left, you can see a large white building complex that houses Amsterdam's City Hall and the Dutch National Opera and Ballet, also known as Stopera. Here, on the right, we will enter the Herengracht, or the Gentleman's Canal, one of the 3 main canals that were dug out in the 17th century. We are now entering the Reguliersgracht, one of the center's most picturesque and tranquil canals. It's also the location of 7 Bridges Amsterdam, which is sought after by photographers as you can see the 7 bridges lined up in a row. We are now on Amstel River. During the late 12th century, fishermen settled on these vast banks. They named their new home Amstelle, an old Dutch word that symbolizes an area with an abundance of water. On the right, you can see the Amstel locks. Further in the distance is the Amstel Hotel. The white building in front of us is the Royal Circus Theatre, or Carré, a neo-Renaissance theatre in Amsterdam. It is mainly used for musicals, cabaret performances, and concerts. We are traveling toward the most iconic bridge in Amsterdam, the Skinny Bridge, or Magere Brug. It is said if two people kiss under the bridge, their love will last forever. In front of us is the Blue Bridge, or Blauwbrug. The bridge owes its name to a wooden blue bridge that was originally there. It has 3 openings for ships and is richly decorated. Here on the right corner, you can see het Joods Verzetsmonument, sculpted in 1988. It serves as a memory of the Jewish members of the resistance who lost their lives during World War II. It is a meter-tall granite column that includes both Hebrew and Dutch engravings. We are now passing Hotel de l'Europe, a beautiful hotel located in the center of Amsterdam and was founded on the remains of a late medieval fortress. In front of us is the Mint Tower, or Munttoren. The tower was originally part of one of the main gates in Amsterdam's medieval city wall. The gate, built in 1480, consisted of 2 towers and a guardhouse. The green neon light says Freddy's Bar, named after Freddy Heineken, a high-class bar. An iconic and fun place to have cocktails, dinner, and cigars. The statue in front of us is a young Queen Wilhelmina, Queen of the Netherlands. She reigned for nearly 58 years, longer than any other Dutch monarch. Her reign saw both World War I and World War II. On the right, hidden between 2 taller buildings, is all that remains of the Agnete Cloister, built in 1470. It was remodeled in 1631 to become the Atheneum Illustre. It is considered the birthplace of the University of Amsterdam. the Old Church, or de Oude Kerk. This is Amsterdam's oldest building and was founded around 1213. It stands in de Walle, now Amsterdam's central red light district. Up here on the left, tucked away in the heart of Amsterdam, lies a hidden gem, Our Lord in the Attic Museum. You can explore narrow corridors and climb winding stairs to historically furnished living rooms, kitchens, and bedsteads, leading to the high point of the museum, an entire church in the attic. On the left is the backside of the St. Nicholas Church, one of Amsterdam's main Roman Catholic churches, located opposite Central Station. In front of us is the Victoria Hotel, one of the oldest hotels in the Netherlands. It opened to the public in 1890. It was the first hotel in the country to have electric lighting. It has attracted well-known clientele, including Louis Armstrong, Christian Dior, and many others. On the left is Central Station. It has approximately 160,000 boarding and alighting passengers every day, making it one of the busiest stations in the Netherlands. Here on the right, you can see a small pointy tower called the Schreierstoren, also known as the Weeping Tower. This is said to be where women would bid farewell to men before traveling for many months and years, usually for the Dutch East India Company. The tower was built around 1487 and is Amsterdam's only preserved defense tower. The building with the flags on the right is the shipping house, also known as Scheepvaarthuis. Sea voyage tickets were sold to the Dutch East Indies, Africa, and other destinations. Shipping was essential at the time since controlling seas meant controlling trade. On the left is the Sea Palace, the first floating restaurant in Europe. The old center was where Amsterdam began, starting out as a fishing village at the mouth of the Amstel River, and then, when the river was dammed in 1270, flourishing as a trading center and receiving its municipal charter from a new feudal overlord, the Count of Holland, around 1300. We hope you enjoyed this immersive experience brought to you by The View.